Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to David Echo Topics. Right, part 3, pets, spirits. How do we know, right, that a pet has a spirit? Well, it's a live, living being, and everything that is living has an entity, meaning a soul or a spirit. That's what makes everything different. That is why we are never the same. If we were all the same, we would not have all different spirits. We would have one spirit. Think about that for the moment. Right, and that is the same with animals. If they only had one spirit, they'd all be the same. That's what makes us so different. Now, going back to pets. A pet spirit could have been reincarnated many times, and it wants to experience from a pet's perspective. So it could have been in a human being. It could be going up its learning process. But when you're a pet, there's, from an animal's perspective, the thing is, all I can do is surmise. And at the end of the day, the spirit of the animal or bird, right, is experiencing it from an animal's point of view. So it's their experience of what they want to learn. It's about the spirit. But what draws us to animals is we have them as pets, but they are more than a pet to us. They are a family member. They are a loved one, which sometimes is better than a human being, because animals are not normally nasty to each other. Yes, they can play, they can be stroppy and stuff like that, but they're not like human beings. And that's the great draw to animals, is that they are a lot nicer than humans. So the reason why I'm saying this is because their spirit is learning from an animal's perspective. It's like lions and tigers, yeah? They are learning, that spirit is learning what it's like to be a tiger. A spirit in a dog is learning to be what it's like to be a dog. So it's a long process of learning for the spirit. The bird's kicking off because it can hear birds outside. So you have to excuse. Now, we interact with pets, and our spirits connect with their spirits. How does this happen? Through love, through feelings, through a higher connection between the animal and us. And when I say connection, you can talk to the animal and tell them how you feel and so on and so forth. But it's the spiritual connection between you and your pet or your animal or your friend, or it's a spiritual connection between human and human. So here's a scenario. You could have been enemies in another life, where your spirit and the other spirit, you both died in the physical realm, and then the spirit wants to understand what it's like to be friends in this world. So you get reincarnated into a body, and you perhaps marry that person in the physical world. And because the body is a different being to the spiritual being, but you're connected, and it does get complicated, but the body's feelings and the body's thoughts is different to a spirit's thoughts. But the spirit thoughts can influence the body's the body's feelings, because you are one. You are talking through your body, but the feelings that the body has, the experience the body has, interacts with the spirit. So when it comes to spirits, the spirit is a multi-dimensional being. In other words, it can be in different time phases. In other words, it can be in this phase. It can be in a different phase. So it can be, perhaps, I'm not 100% sure, inhabiting multi-bodies. I do not know. This is just a theory. But let's keep it simple, and that's when we're in this dimension. And that is, the spirit is experiencing this dimension, and when it is experiencing this, is learning from this. So how does that work with us? Because a lot of people don't understand the connection between spirits and humans, and my perspective on this is this. Right, we are all spiritual beings, whether you believe it or whether you don't. That is my view. Now, your animals are spiritual beings, but in an animal realm. So, and I'll go into another video, but we'll talk about spiritual and guardian angels. And this is, right, you're probably asking, how do I know all this? Well, I'm 64, and I'm not saying I know everything, but it's my understanding, and I talk from me. I talk from my experiences in life, my spiritual knowledge, my spiritual connections with other beings, and my feelings. I talk to you with my feelings of what I know and what I want to say. So, am I making this up? No. I tell you from my heart. That's the difference. I don't want to tell you something I don't know. If I don't know it, right, I don't know it. But I tell you these things how I understand it, what I think, and that is my feelings. Don't get me wrong, don't get me right, I might be wrong sometimes. You know what I mean. I'm just getting hooked up on that word, but never mind. What I'm trying to say is I might be wrong, right? But then again, I might be right. But I can only tell you from my perspective. Your perspective might be different to mine, which is fair enough. Your understanding might be different to me. You might know more than me. Fair enough. I'm not saying that I know everything, but all I can tell you is how I see things, how the spiritual aspect affects me in the physical realm. Little darling, ain't ya? So I got a dog in my lap. I've got two actually. And so it's a bit of understanding about how spirits work in this work in the body, and what the spirit wants from the body, and what they're trying to gain from it. So hopefully that helps you, and at least this way you get a deeper understanding. As I always say, please like, share, subscribe, but leave a comment. Let me know what you think, because as the videos go on, I want to bring different things into the videos and give you my understanding of what I think and how it affects me as well. So I'd be interested in how things affect you in the spiritual realm, with your pets, your friends. If you're a medium, please get in contact. I'll be interested to see what you say. I had a comment on one of my YouTube videos saying that I was wrong, which is a fair point, but I don't pretend to know everything. But the way I see it is, and I will talk to you about it in the next video, about spirits and what they do and what I see and stuff like that. I think there's a few more videos coming up. This video's a bit longer than it should have been. I'm sorry about the birds or birdie. Excuse me. So, as I say, let me know what you think, and I'll be interested to see how the videos and what you think of the videos. So, thanks anyway. See you next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.